It's been, I don't know when the last time I was able to do a rum tasting. A few of you guys have already been in some of the tastings with me before. My name's Sean, for anyone who doesn't know me. I'm one of the managers at the shop, and I am the rum guy. Rum guy, beer guy, a little bit of whiskey guy, a little bit of everything guy, but um, rum, beer, whiskey definitely are the things that I'm most passionate about. This is a smaller group tonight because I figured over the years of doing it, it's hard to I can sell out 20 tickets in store, but I can't sell 40 tickets virtually for some reason. So this time, in order to justify some of these slightly more expensive bottles, I had to do both. So I did an in-store tasting that gave me about 16 to 18 people, and then I was able to do 22 kits, so 20 attendees plus Harmony and myself, and that kind of worked out great. The bottles were completely drained, and which is the most, like obviously I want to share with most people, but it's also the most value for us because I can, open some of the coolest stuff that I have. And as you might have seen in the description, some of the stuff that I've just been itching to open up because they're a little bit pricey, or because I have so many bottles open, I just can't justify doing it to more. Yeah, so the lineup is in the chat there. We will be starting off with a Shakara Thai rum. Before I kind of go into like you might it is that the lineup was very specifically chosen, and it's not specifically because I know that's going to be the best. It's because I think it's going to be the best. I'm not really sure. You guys can tell me at the end. You'll notice like the second one in is at like 60%. It's I think it's going to be okay, so don't you're going to have to bear with me and everything, but any questions or comments, please throw them in the chat. We can answer any questions and anything like that. In the meantime, I guess we'll get ready. Right, so as I mentioned, it's a bit of a hodgepodge tonight. It's kind of going all over the place. I wanted this to be, well, like I said, an excuse to open some of these really dope bottles. And then two, I wanted to exhibit some rums that were a bit kind of off the beaten path. Either it's something that we've never seen in the province or the shop before, or it's something, well, actually, yeah, that's more or less it, like countries and styles, i.e. the Thailand rum, Clairin, even the Mexican one is fairly new to us. We don't really get, well, there's only the one company doing it right now, although there is like three or so that I know of that are in the mainstream right now. If you haven't already, please go ahead and pick up number one. We can at least start nosing and kind of see what we think about it. I I should also mention that these bottles have been open for about 2 months now. So if you're interested in some of these and you're going to grab some of them, they might be maybe slightly different when you first open them up, but it won't last that long. It'll kind of turn into whatever we see here over time. Unless you drink them in less than 2 months, then I guess it doesn't matter. Cool. So what do we know about the first one? It is a project of Maison Vellier. Vellier is an founded by an Italian gentleman, Luca Gargano. We don't get anything from him, but he's kind of one of the names in the game in rum. Like we don't get much from him in Alberta. Like this is actually one of the first things that we've seen from him, and I think it's because of his collaboration with La Maison de Whiskey, and we do see some stuff from Maison de Whiskey. Um, we also, like I said, we also don't really get a lot from Thailand, and they're not very disclosing of what this is. So I couldn't give you a distillery. I couldn't give you too much about it, except things like it is a molasses-based rum. It is a column still rum, and is entirely aged all 12 years in tropical climate, or Thailand specifically. It's kind of neat because they didn't have to source this from Liverpool or Copenhagen or anything like that. Immediately on the nose, it's like overripe banana in like a bourbon barrel. Big heavy
Mhm.
barrel.
Getting like a little bit of like white chocolate, but yeah, big
Ooh.
banana note.
White chocolate, almost like it like leans into like hazelnut or
Fondant.
like toasted Brazil nut or something like that. Like I can get that slight acridness from the bourbon even just on the nose. It reminds me of like nut skins.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
no euphemism there. Oh man, it's pretty big oak and big pencil shavings as well. Like it really leans on it. It's not like it actually kind of reminds me of some of the four squares I've had when they're really heavily wooded, which a lot of them are, but
Well, I've noticed that though we're starting on the darkest rum, moving to the lightest, which is not
Yeah.
typical of a lot of the tastings that we do. So I'm very curious to see why that is and what makes it so different.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I think we'll see as
Mm.
we go too, but yeah, yeah, for sure. It's totally counterintuitive, right?
Yeah.
Hmm. Th- Super mild though. Like it's low ABV at 45.7 this one. Super drinkable. I wouldn't say it's like, sit down and like, connoisseurs kind of like, really really getting into it. And I don't think it's supposed to be like that either. I think it's supposed to be an accessible rum for a lot of people. And it's priced like that too. It's like 78 bucks. I'll show you the bottle here. If I can remember how to do that. It's been a while since I've did this.
Mm, the palate's quite lovely.
Yeah, so super attractive product, which I wouldn't doubt anyways. Velier does have some pretty primo marketing and packaging, if I do say so myself. But yeah, super inexpensive. Well, for a 12-year-old rum, tropically aged, and yeah, man, super attractive. I also should mention, like, as soon as I brought this case in for the first tasting, I like it sold so fast I couldn't even believe it. Like I know no, no, to be fair, one customer bought like 3 of the 6 bottles, but still like man, it was I think it was actually one of the hits for the first half of this tasting too. It was people really enjoyed it.
Yeah. It's got like a nice balance of sweet and spicy. It's just it's not all syrup and decadence like you see in some of those other big brand rums where it's just very, very sweet and kind of sticky and syrupy. This is very nicely balanced.
Totally, absolutely. Yeah, I should say that like if like I don't want to go too far on tangents, but I mean I I the the rums that we're tasting tonight, you might notice that maybe there might be a bottle that's missing from the photo on the website to here. I'm not going to go like too far into it, but when I did this in store, I opened up all these rums and I noticed that they're all pretty intense, except for maybe this one. And I'm flashing back to a tasting that one of my ex coworkers, Hunter, he did back in 2015 or something like that, 2016, when we got this slew of these single cask old Cadenhead rums that were so weird and so like austere and interesting. And he had this tasting in store and everybody hated it because they wanted this premium American rum that was really hot on the market at that point. It was a little sweet. It was like really kind of opulent and they just didn't like it. And I always have like that thought that that's going to happen again, but thankfully it hasn't. But I did switch out one of the rums for something a little sweeter in the in-store tasting, but I didn't give that to you guys because I just don't think it's needed. Honestly, like even in store, they didn't like it at the end of the day, and I thought it was still good for what it was. It was just, yeah, but if you don't know, and there's only it's a small audience here, so I'm sure everybody probably does know. But if you're getting like a heavy sweetness on the rum, chances are there's sugar in the rum. That's just the way it is. It can be done in any number of ways. Thankfully, with all 7 of these, there's no sugar on there. You will get some cane sweetness on a couple of them, but I think that's just residual.
Yeah, that's nice. Nice
Mm,
start.
honestly, yeah, it's not. I could use a little bit more body, I think. Like, and I'm not sure if it's the ABV or something, but it is like there's a tiny bit of a wateriness on the finish, which I don't necessarily mind, but it definitely leaves a little bit to be desired, I suppose. I th
That's why you buy 2 bottles.
yeah, I was thinking if they could do a higher proof version of that, you could do a rum old fashioned and it would work like very, very well. It's
Oh
just I
yeah.
think with this, if you put it on ice, I think it would water down a little bit too quick, to be honest.
Yeah. Very cool.
Andrew was talking about like the Hampton 8 and SEQ. I was in Montreal like 3 weeks ago, and my bag was really heavy and I couldn't walk that far anymore. Like, and I had 2 choices. I could go to the SAQ and load up my bag with a bottle of Hampton, or I could buy 6 cans of this weird smoothie sour from this brewery that I visited that I fell in love with. And like,
Yes,
well, I did one of the. I think I made the right choice. I
I
didn't
think
get the
so.
rum, but either way, I kind of I do. There's part of me that actually does regret it.
Uh, those beers were so cool that I still think about them.
It
Like,
was, yeah, it was something else. Yeah.
yeah, that's pretty cool.
I think we're getting one like that in the store. Sorry, more tangents. I shouldn't really, but yeah, I think we're getting one like a cherry cheesecake smoothie thing that's coming in.
Oh, I wonder if it'll be close. All right, let's
All
go
right,
to
yeah, let's
second.
go number two. Yeah, yeah. Sorry, I'm looking at the chat here just in case there's any questions. Ah, Jeff missed the kit. Sorry, man. You'll just have to well,
Suck
this
it
will be
up.
recorded. So I guess yeah, totally. Like a Panama. Yeah, drinks like a Panama. Yeah, I agree with that. But and open the door. He wonders if this opens the door to other value. You know what? I'd really hope so. I don't know if I do kind of wonder if whoever reps this bottle in the province might have an actual agreement with them in general. I would hope so. I would love to see some of his like habitation line come in, but who knows?
I'm not a rum nerd, so I don't know what any of that means.
It's more like his line of like kind of like single origin kind of I think I'm not sure like barrel proof kind of like rums. I don't know. There's probably another name for it, but it's I don't think he's blending very much. I think it's either single cask or small parcel.
See,
Okay, number
so
two, like pretty intense already on the nose. Again, I feel like some of these are gonna lean into like some of those similar notes, but this also has like a slightly big kind of banana like note on it, but more pineapple as well.
how do you say the
Kind of
name of
leathery.
this rum sponge rum?
So it's a distillery from like Dutch Guyana. It's called Uitvlught, or I have also heard some people call Uitvlught, but I mean I'm not Dutch, so I don't know. Um, it was uh, there was a time in Guyana where I think there was something like 1,800 different sugar plantations, and probably somewhere in along the lines of those for like actual distilleries alongside them. Over the years, they completely get wiped out and like kind of go defunct and whatnot. In the last 50 years, we're probably looking at like what six, I think, that slowly closed down over time. Like Skeldon, Versailles, Port Morant, Flute, and more, and then everything, all the stills, all those neat stills that a lot of them were very one of a kind. They slowly started getting consolidated within Demerara Distillers Limited, or at the time it was Diamond Distillers. So like this specifically, so Flute closed in 2000, and this is 1998 distillation or distillate. So it is originally from that site. I think they're using the Port Morant still, which is a double wooden pot still. I think I can't remember what iFlute's actual still is. I think is theirs is like a was theirs the single wooden? I can't remember. There's always so much there that I've always getting this like kind of mixed up. Um, but it is like I think it's the only one of its kind in the world, double wooden pot still. It seems kind of counterintuitive, but they use a very hardy wood that's grown in or in the old forest there in Ghana called green heartwood. It's very hard and it's very water resistant. Like apparently all the docks in that country are made out of that because it just stands up to the wetness and the salt so well. They
Cool.
do need like constant repair, but I mean for all intents and purposes, they work fairly well. Now, I guess like having said that, like it's the only kind of still of its kind, like very much true to spec. Like there are mescaleros and raicilla distilleries that will use like tree trunks and wooden stills, or at least like kind of half and half. So it's not like an exclusive thing to Guyana, but like that, in a more commercial way, that is kind of the one. That's the only one.
Okay. Uh, I get like quite a bit of fresh fruit on this. Um,
Oh man.
like like white fleshy fruits and like pears and little bits of cinnamon.
Yeah, I'm finding a bit more spice, maybe a bit of leather coming out more so for me. Like those high tones are always very quite fruity for sure, but underneath though it's a little bit more there's a little bit more of a ruggedness.
There is. It kind of reminded me of when we get our box shipments of like the bundles of like fresh cardboard boxes.
Oh, that's funny, yeah. Yeah, there's definitely a little bit of that kind of paperiness on there. Oh man. Okay, so this is the 60 percenter. I gotta say, like if you blinded this, could you say 50? Like I like this comes across to me. There is a bit of a burn, but I think it comes across to me and it's like low to mid 50s, which is kind of perfect for me.
Will Christie says you get banana bread and coffee cake on the back
Uh,
end of this.
Coffee cake, cool.
Cool.
Yeah, and those Jamaica funk notes. Yeah, it's definitely like a more ester heavy rum where there is
Mhm.
like not like super heavy, but definitely like it's quite volatile, and some of those fruity notes are definitely, typical estery fruits. This is top
Mhm.
three Uitvlught for me. Yeah, yeah, I agree, Andrew. Like honestly, when I first opened this, like I didn't even want to pour it for that tasting. I just wanted to drink it all myself. It was just, man, it just blew me away. It really did.
Thanks for sharing, Sean. This is
Hey,
lovely.
I took one for the team, and I did not spend all the money on it. I, s- I suppose I'll show you the photo of that one too. It's whiskey sponge, so you might also, like you kind of, I think you, uh, they're the labels aren't always super super silly, but sometimes they're just kind of nice and pretty. This one I like the color scheme on it. I actually like the art quite a bit. But yeah, it's not cheap. Although looking at, this seems to be about on par for what I see for like original site iFlute going. I think we had a couple from Cadenhead not too long ago at around the 500 mark, which was a little bit more, and that was also 25 years old. Um, but yeah, this is probably the first one we've seen in at least a few years, I would say. But this is also probably amongst maybe the second or third last releases from the Sponge line in rum. Like there he so I think everybody here I think has been on some of those tastings with Andrew and whatnot. Like Rum Sponge, we all kind of know Angus. We all love what he does, and he's kind of, yeah, he's very close to my heart. He's no longer doing the Sponge line. He's moved on to something called Whiskey Land for all of his whiskeys, and everything else like cognacs, armagnacs, rums, and anything else is going to go under the moniker Decadent Drams. And we haven't seen anything rum yet. In fact, I think we've only seen one whiskey even now, and that's been at Glengarry. Um, but yeah, see what I look forward to seeing what he comes out with, because I mean, I don't know. I've I've enjoyed pretty much everything I've had from him so far. Well,
Yeah.
almost.
We've enjoyed more
Oh
than we
man.
didn't. No, this is really a beautiful run.
Then he says a minty thing that happens after a few seconds reminds me of the Cadenhead 19. Yeah, okay. Yeah, that's like it's like mint and gas diesel fuel or something mixed together. Like that one had a bit more like passion fruit note, which this doesn't necessarily have, but
I get like more grapefruit and pithiness on the finish.
honestly, even on the nose, a little bit grapefruity. That's a good call. Cool. Oh, I love this rum.
Got great, like a great oily um front, like up front, you get all this like oils that you would get from like the skin of fruits.
Yeah.
Really lovely.
I should also point out for like that page I said low stock, there is one bottle left. I might have access to more. I haven't actually looked, but there is one bottle in store that I. Oh man, I just want to keep drinking that.
Yeah, me too.
And if it's not gone in the next month, I might have to buy it. I don't know. Okay, let's keep going. We got the next two are also sponge bottlings, and again, like I said, all three were ones that I just couldn't wait to open. This is a distillery that's not very close to my heart, and I'm not afraid to admit it. Foursquare. Everybody likes Foursquare. I don't know why. It's just like it's the bee's knees. People just like for the actual distillery bottlings. It seems like people will climb over their own grandmother to get one. Not in the same way as Springbank, but definitely just because like I think it only goes one place in Canada, and that's Ontario once in a while. So we just don't really get a whole lot of it up here. I
Mm.
I feel so like Richard Seal, the guy who's founded, he's a fourth generation distiller slash rum trader, and he's been doing it since 1996. I think Foursquare was a distillery historically, but I think they kind of reopened. I'm not sure if it's on the same site or what, but um, my the one parts that I do kind of like appreciate what he does is like he did try to make it a kind of sustainable green distillery. They're they're using things like carbon capture to like capture all the CO2, and then I think they sell it back to the beverage industry so it doesn't go into the atmosphere. They're using vacuum distillation to lower the amount of power required to distill, things like that. So, there's just little bits here and there. I think some of that stuff like vacuum distillation actually has an effect on the distillate too. I don't know to what degree. Like for example, with pot stills, if you don't have to heat them up quite as much, I have no doubt that there's some effect on that spirit after the fact. Then again, I suppose like counter that, like with column stills, you're typically running it under vacuum anyways. So I mean, maybe it's a lie. Maybe he's just referring to the vacuum of column stills. I don't know. Anyways, all the distillate that you taste from him is a blend of column still and pot still. He didn't. I he he's not. He wants to kind of get past the whole like thing about like all the flavor being in that high ester rum and that's being all there is. And so he's kind of doing a little bit of both. Um, if you've had any of their distillery bottlings or their in-house brands, such as Dorley's, I'm sure you'll have noticed that it is barrel heavy. Like they do rely on bourbon barrels quite a bit. They rely on, well, I mean, some of those limited releases are like Zinfandel barrels, port barrels, sherry barrels. I don't think there's anything wrong with that. It's not my favorite thing at all, and I always do find that their spirit grips that bourbon wood like so well. And to probably to his credit, but it's just I'm looking more for rum and I'm rum flavors rather than bourbon flavors. So I do kind of
Oh.
it's not my favorite. However, having said that, if you haven't tasted this yet, I strongly recommend it. Like start sipping and nosing because this and a second cask that Angus did, were they both from 2000?
I think so.
I
Yeah.
think they were both 2000. I don't know if they were sister casks, but they're well, okay, no, you guys can tell me if you've had anything like that from Foursquare because that I've had probably 18 Foursquares, maybe 20, and these two are pretty singular in my opinion. So
Hmm.
it's not I don't know. I like these and I don't like a lot of the others. So I don't love a lot of the others. I don't mind drinking them. I hope I like them a little bit. My dad's actually given me a bunch of his old distillery bottlings and I'm like, yeah, sure, I guess. Anyways, yeah.
I find this like very like sweet and candied, and I agree very strongly with Will's tasting of marzipan and amaretto on dry cedar. Like that is a really cool note. I had wrote like um pink candy and taffy with a spice on the back. This is definitely not what I was expecting from Foursquare.
Yeah, it's a bit more, it also comes up, it's a bit more antiseptic, a little bit more hospital-like, which I'm actually pretty happy about. I like those notes on some of those slightly more industrial rums. Yeah, it still bursts on like fermented fruits on the nose.
Yeah, like
Brennan says sour peach candies. Man, yeah, yeah, totally.
yeah,
Sorry,
I also wrote jelly beans and like chalky
n
sugars.
not even just jelly beans, but there's even a bit of licorice on the nose too.
Yeah, very faint.
Mm.
I love the
Oh,
contrast that Will mentions. Like it's very like juicy and fruit forward with this nice dryness, like drying
it's so dry on the
finish.
palate. Yeah, absolutely.
Hmm. But you're happy with it. You still get all the fruit. Just
There's it. Yeah, there's definitely a lot of that like a metal shop vibe, like kind of like gun oil and like really, it really is like very industrial. But there's just so much fruit and spice under it all.
what was the price of that?
That
And
one's
it's
325.
okay. It's a fun
So
label.
it's 22 years old, and that's not super. I don't think we get like a ton of like 20 and above four squares. So I think that does kind of play into that price a little bit.
Hmm.
Oh man, it's
That
so
is so
cool.
enjoyable.
So this was very similar to the other cask, which if you might recognize it's like it was like a blue label with a big pineapple on it, and I think like the sponge has got like a straw in it or something like that. And it's very,
Mhm.
very much like this. I had to buy one of those because it was just so incredible. And I definitely had like a not so secret hope that this was going to be the same. And then when I opened it up, I was like, yay.
Yeah,
This
that's
is
cool.
there's some whiskey like notes on there too that are kind of interesting. Like there's definitely like it kind of reminds me of like certain unpeated new makes almost. It's kind of strange to me. Like maybe something soft like liquid or something like that.
Yeah.
Maybe not maybe not new make, but I mean, just like something that's like not touched much in the way of barrel, maybe like that nine,
Yeah.
10 years old.
Yeah.
On the nose at least, not so much the palate.
Yeah, the nose is great. The whiskey, the whole rum is really enjoyable, and I definitely don't have a lot of experience in the rum world,
Yeah,
but
it's
I enjoy your tastings because you introduced me to like things I know nothing about and profiles that I would probably shy away from sometimes just on the nose. Like I've realized that there can be such a disconnect sometimes with rum, like nose to palate. That's been such a fun discovery.
to honestly, like the last two that we get tonight, I think you'll see a lot of that too. Is like very, very much a disconnect and not in a bad way whatsoever.
No, no, it's like it's the uniqueness of it that makes it enjoyable and fun to discover.
Yeah, totally. Uh,
Yeah.
older than any ECS releases. Yeah, wonder why we've Yeah, you know what? That's a good question. Brendan asked about like why we're not seeing like any exceptional casks from Foursquare of that age. I I wish I knew. Like I'm not really sure. I wonder if he's got like a bunch of cool casks that are just like aging away down there. But then again, it is tropical aging, and that might be a big part of it, right? Like in fact, now that I think about it, that's probably a big reason. I mean, this stuff would have gone up to Sheer up in like Copenhagen or possibly or Liverpool, and so it would have probably spent most of its life doing continental aging, a much more elegant age where you can go a little bit more long term.
Mm.
Yes, that's probably why. Yeah, I see Doug nodding, so I think he agrees. I'd say Foursquare is like the bourbon of rum for me. Yeah, yeah, lots of cask influence. Militant with the GI back. Right, yeah, he wanted to make like like for Bayesian rum specifically, right? I think he was I'm not sure. I wonder how close he is for that. Yeah.
So Ontario will have to let us know before we get a chance to try them, hey?
One holdout is in another distillery. Oh, it's probably West Indies, isn't it? Yeah, like the Plantaray guys, right? Yeah, that makes sense. That makes sense. All right, I'm gonna keep going because there's more sponge for me to drink, and that's all I want. So it can't be a rum tasting for
Great.
me without a bit of Jamaica, that's for sure. Luckily we
It-
have two.
This is like a funkier style. It's like dill and pickly
Yeah, it's a cool. That's honestly,
still
I don't
gets something.
I don't normally get dill off Jamaicans, so that's kind of neat. That's fun. Then again, I guess like old Jamaicans are also not always that accessible either, so maybe I don't have that much experience with it. Um, so another sponge bottling. This is from the Clarendon distillery, which I mean, only so much is like there's only so much really known about it. I mean, there's enough, but it is a giant distillery in Jamaica, and it's been around for a long, long, long time. And as of today, it consists of kind of two distilleries in one. There's an old like pot still distillery with all of its fermentation stuff, and that dates back to about 1949. And then in 2000, I believe, it it they built a giant column still next to it, or a facility for it. Have you ever never seen like an industrial column still distillery? Like it's just a I don't know. Giant columns and a big warehouse like looking thing. There's nothing romantic about it whatsoever. But the old distillery side, which is I'm quite sure where this is from, they usually make like light and heavy distillate, which varies in ester content. I think this is supposed to be light, if I remember correctly. Um, No, no, I'm not. I'm wrong about that. Sorry, this is the heavy distillate, I think. The heavy distillate actually ferments between 2 and 4 weeks, which is like a crazy long fermentation time. But having said that, it's not the most estery. This like it's not like super high ester like Hampton or anything like that. In fact, I'm not even sure if I would maybe along the lines of like Worthy Park, maybe, but tough to say though. I mean, again, it's got some real elegance to it, maybe possibly from its age, but who knows?
Getting a little bit of like chewy ginger spice.
Yeah. They Clarendon and Long Pond and what was the other one? Monty Musk, I believe. They all belong to a conglomerate called the National Rums of Jamaica, and that's owned by a few different people. And I think at least 1/3 of it or so is owned by um, Pierre Ferrand and the Plantaray people, formerly Plantation, but they cleverly changed the name.
Yes, plantaray is so different.
I don't even know if it's a real word. Yeah, Brett says Big Lemon on this. National Rum and DDL. Oh, I forgot that DDL owns part of National Rums. Right. Yeah, good call. Hmm. Oh man, cool. So that herbaceous note doesn't really come across on the palate as much. This has a little bit more like there's this really cool base of like sourdough starter and like I don't know. There's not too much barrel on it, thankfully. I think that's definitely like a refill barrel, so I'm not getting barrel on there, but definitely some woody notes on it. And then it just starts bursting a little bit of fruit and a little bit of acid. They it like it's not uncommon, especially in Jamaican distilleries, to use cane vinegar in order to introduce acids to your wash. Uh, Maybe everybody knows or not, but a lot of those volatiles that you're getting, specifically on this rum, and some of the previous ones are mostly just from esters. And the main way that you can get esters is by adding acids to your to your ferment. Uh, Acid plus alcohol equals ester, and it's a fairly spontaneous, well, more or less spontaneous reaction, but you can drive it to produce more. Um, and one of the ways you can introduce acid is by well, you can turn sugar or cane juice right into acid or cane vinegar. Other ways you can use what's called like dunder or muck, which consists of like dunder being like stillage from the like the remains of what's in the pot still after distillation. It kind of
Mhm.
gets kind of like gathered and kept there. Muck is the same kind of thing, but it ends up sitting for longer. And I think there's other stuff being introduced into it, like I think there's like cane refuse and stuff like that, and it ends up getting like really kind of weird and soupy and interesting. And they'll use both of those things to kind of also introduce acids to that wash and really drive up the ester count. I had a
Is it
really cool pit.
possible?
Sorry?
Sorry, is it possible for that like that vinegar to not be completely like used up and turned into those ester notes where you get a little bit of that remnants kind of vinegar note left in the rum?
Yeah, totally. Like honestly, like without getting too much into like the chemistry part, it's actually like the reaction of like alcohol, acid, and ester. It's actually like an equilibrium reaction, which means it kind of goes both ways, and you're
Okay.
always going to have a little bit of each of those components left at the end. So just
Mhm.
because you add acid doesn't mean it's all going to get turned into it. In fact, I think so. This one, I definitely get a touch of vinegar on. And
Yeah,
A lot of Hamptons I'll get a lot of vinegar on, depending on the mark that it is. Yeah.
I wonder if that's where my dill note comes from, that pale
Yeah, you know
note.
what? I don't know why I didn't put that together. That's almost 100% what it is.
Very cool.
Hmm. Did I show the bottle for that one?
No, you did not.
Sorry, I'll just quickly flash it on the screen before I keep going, but yet another fun sponge label.
That's cool.
So just as his other stuff, unfortunately, it does, carry a little bit of a premium, but honestly, that is a probably amongst some of the nicest Clarendons I've had. There was another one that he had. Um, it was like an all white label with like a weird like sketch of the sponge on it. That one was a little bit nicer than this, but it was also, I think, a little bit more expensive. This is
Mhm.
definitely a little bit more mellow and a little bit more drinkable, in my opinion, too. Actually, have you had that other one? We had it during the head-to-head tasting that you, me, and Kurt did.
Wasn't it the staff tasting?
Yeah, the staff picks.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Brenda says, "Is there any chance Angus Rum Sponge will know the mark on this?" Maybe. It's tough to say. Like, it very well might. But the thing that happens with a lot of that rum that makes its way up into Europe for longer aging and storage is that sometimes the main rum company will actually attach its own mark to it, which I don't know what this would be, but it might be like JRC or something like that for like Jamaican rum Clarendon, and they don't really. They, so sometimes it kind of muddies the water a little bit. Um, I don't really know, to be honest. He might know, but I mean, at that point, it's whether or not
I-
like Sheer will tell them or not.
yeah. It's not declared on any bottles as far as I know. Very tasty though. Very cool. So you're saying the next one here is also, I mean, it's
Yeah,
clearly marked Jamaica.
yeah, we got a second Jamaica.
Very cool.
I'd like to know if anyone can guess what distillery is from. I think Doug might be able to, but
Maybe Jeff too if he had his kit.
I think this does actually have like a very typical nose and palate for what it is. Yeah, Doug says they're not often allowed to disclose the mark. That's fair. They have multiple marks depending on the specific contract. Yeah, okay.
Ugh, it's
This is like so
very
banana heavy on the nose for me. JMM. Oh, really? So he said, okay, so Andrew's seen this one listed as JMM would be Jamaican Monty Musk, I suppose. But that, I don't know. Yeah. Not sure. Onion soup
This
on this one. Yeah, that's cool. There is like a deceptive kind of like savory tone on there. That's neat. This one, the company behind this one is Fox Fitzgerald.
stop.
Not
No,
that much. Like
no.
not everybody knows all that much about the company,
No.
except for the fact that like back in the day, it used to represent the Bruichladdich distillery until they were sold in 2010, I think it was. And they have a close relationship with Mark Renier and I think possibly Jimmy Kuhn as well. Um, they have a few different things that they do, including Pete's Beast and this one called the Rest and Be Thankful, which is, if I remember correctly, it's named after, is it like a bed and breakfast or something like that in Scotland that's on its way from Glasgow to the ferry going to Isla. And I think and if I read it correctly, there's somewhere in Jamaica also called Rest and Be Thankful. And so they thought like, I don't know, they kind of combined the two and be like, cool, we'll make it like they're doing Isla rums and they're doing Jamaican rums, which is actually, kind of a fun little take on it, to be honest with you. Um, Most of what they've been doing, at least have I had, has been both Monty Musk and Long Pond. I'm guessing, I actually don't know why. Like, I'm guessing there's just like a plethora of old casks from them up in the Liverpool warehouses, but who knows? And some of them can get pretty expensive too. Like, I've got a few of the like old like mid 20s bottlings in the shop, and they're in like that 400 level or so. But they've all been quite good. The one thing I wasn't super impressed with was that a lot of the Long Pond casks that they were bottling were specifically fairly low ester marks that they don't even make anymore, and they were just not as exciting as I wanted them to be. Anyways, I digress. This is a 7-year-old. It's a blend of 10 casks that from one distillery, and it's from Worthy Park. Worthy Park is another one of those distilleries that I think existed quite long in history, but then it kind of like it didn't exist for a long time, and then it started existing again in 2007, I believe. It is, I think it's the only privately owned distillery in Jamaica, and they, I think they make some of the like I don't know. Okay, people have their favorites out of Jamaica. Like, I don't know, like, I don't know if anyone who says Appleton is their favorite unless they're just not into high ester rums. Fine. I don't know anyone who says like Clarendon or Monty Musk is their favorite. Definitely people really like Long Pond, as well, at least some people, and people really like Hampton. I think Worthy Park is kind of my favorite for Jamaica. I don't know why. I feel like it's just got they have fewer marks than Hampton does, which I think has like 10 or something like that. And they really vary from like light to very, very heavy estuary. Worthy Park, they have far fewer, and I'm always finding that it's got this voluptuous body to it that I really, really enjoy. It's also like exceptionally fruity and rarely vinegary, even though I'm pretty sure they still use cane vinegar with that. Um, and yeah, I don't know. I just really like I really like everything I've had from them. Yeah. So this is bottled, I think it's 46%. So it's very, very much just like an approachable one. Their labels are, yeah, they're kind of pretty, but kind of innocuous, to be honest with you. Like there's, it's they're fine. A lot of people come in and be like, "What's rest be?" And like, they kind of, I don't know, they don't really understand kind of what's going on with it, and that's fine. So it takes a little bit of explanation, but not a big deal. Mm. Yeah. Mm. Man, so much candied notes on that palette. Like I love that volatility that just like it doesn't let it sit too long. It just evaporates fairly quickly. It really fills the mouth with that flavor, like almost more so than like some higher ester stuff that I've had from other. I don't know what it is about it. I'm not really sure, but it's always like it just hits hard.
Mm.
Hmm. Brendan says yeah, you agree, Brendan. Yeah, WPM, which I think WPM is like what? Oh, is that okay? That's the one that they don't. Okay. I can't remember what the other WPL. Can't remember. Anyways, yeah, I think like from what they sell to like, which is probably what this is, what they sell to uh, for export and whatnot is I think mostly like a lighter rum. I swear one of my Scotch Malt Whiskey Society bottles is a heavier one, but not really sure to be perfectly honest.
I know I'm just ignorant, but how do you describe a rum like this in a tasting note? Other than like candied, because like I kind of got your banana, like banana flambe, like kind of like condensed sugar, but or burnt sugars, but other than that, like rum is like a whole new world of tasting notes that I have a hard time describing sometimes.
Honestly, and that's fair. And I do find it hard, like because we have to sell this in store, right? And if people don't know what these kinds of rums are, you're right. How do you explain it in like a couple of words? Like if they don't know what high ester is, then that doesn't mean anything to them, right?
Mhm.
Like you can say it's fruity, but to someone who's getting into this right away, I almost feel that there's like like that cilantro kind of thing to it, where some people are like, "Oh, it's fruit right away," but other people are just like, "This smells like acetone." Like so it's yeah, it's kind of tough. Um, Volatile is the first word that comes to mind for me because it's very, very much like so much of what you're getting first happens through your nose or through the aromas. Like volatility is like the name of the game for me. After that, I usually just say is like it's fruity and volatile. Like that's and if they maybe they don't like it, that's fine.
Mhm.
I'll offer to drink it if they don't like it, obviously, but
Yeah, well, we're not gonna waste it.
no, of course not.
Yeah, we can't do that. It's very good. I
Roasted
just
marshmallow. Yeah, okay. That's yeah, that's another one that's kind of funny. You get that fluffer nutter stuff kind of almost too, like that marshmallow spread for sure. I know what you mean with that.
bring that.
Mm,
All right.
love that.
That's
Okay.
that's really good.
That's all for aged rums today. Now we go for white rums. Again, it's so weird that it's like we end with the white rums. And it's not because they're like any more intense or anything like that. Although they nose more intense, but they're not like higher ABV or anything like that. But I think once you start tasting and smelling these, I think you'll kind of get the idea of why they're at the end. Like they're not, I don't think they're gonna fully taint your palate, but they might because there's something to them. Okay, so truth be told, this next one is not actually a rum. This is a Clairin, and it's the first Clairin to come into Alberta. Clairin is a Haitian spirit. It's the word Clairin. Well, it's like Clairin, but it's also spelled like with a K, and it's a reference to Haitian Creole for clear, or clear, Clairin. Um, it is sugarcane spirit as well, but it's a little different than rum. It's kind of its own thing. It's almost like cachaça to rum is different, and or like raicilla to agave spirits are very different, or like tequila is different. It's not double distilled typically. It undergoes one distillation, but it's a distillation with kind of a more often than not, it's a kind of a rudimentary still that has a couple of plates in it. So it's a little bit more than one distillation, but only so much. Like it's your typical pot still, one single distillation, you're usually going to get, what is it? You're getting something that's in that like that 50, is it 50-ish%, I think, after the fact. Whereas I think with this, you can get up to 60 plus on the first distillation. Another thing that kind of makes it a little bit different is um, Haiti, like, well, I don't want to go too far into like the unfortunate history of Haiti, but they weren't allowed to export their sugar for the longest time because it was kind of like almost like a punishment after they gained independence. And as a result of that, there was not a lot of hybridized sugarcane that was grown on the island. And the end result is that there's a lot of heritage strains on Haiti that are not hybridized. They're not like mass produced or anything like that. They're well heritage. They're heirloom, which is kind of neat. And all of Clarion is, as far as I know, is made with those heirloom strains of sugarcane. Uh, I don't know how many places are making them commercially. I think it's only like seven or eight. Um, and there's three main companies I think that I know of doing it. Uh, I think Papelin does it. This guy's Saint Benevolence, and there's the one I can't remember the other one. I think it's in collaboration with Velier as well. Um, this guy Saint Benevolence is a project from a father and son couple in Miami called the Babcocks. They they're reasonably wealthy and entrepreneurs, and they actually run charities in Haiti to help with things like not let's see, like HIV, cancer treatments, things like that, school, food, all that stuff. And for a while there, they were bankrolling it in different ways, but they wanted to find maybe a bit more sustainable way to fund this charity. And so they ended up going with trying to release Clairin, the local spirit from Haiti. And so they kind of met together with at least I think it's one producer. I have the name somewhere. The Dorsonville Distillery, um, and they're in the kind of like the central northwestern part of the island, Saint Michael Letelier, I think it is, and they are supplying them with white spirit where almost all the proceeds actually go, well, almost all the extra profit goes to right back into Haiti, which is kind of cool. Because I mean, if you're gonna buy something from an impoverished country, I'd love to know that the money's going back into there, which I think it feels pretty good. Um, Anyways, yeah, I don't know if there's anything too much different about it. Oh yeah, there's this specific one, and I don't know if this is like Claritin can be made from fresh cane juice. It can be made from like condensed cane juice or syrup. Undergoes what's called the St. Michael method, in which once the cane is pressed, it gets split into two. They'll ferment and distill the fresh juice, and then the other one they'll boil down into condense into a syrup, and then ferment and distill that separately, and then they'll combine the two at the end. So you're getting kind of the best of both worlds in that style. what I find is that I'm not always getting the same salinity that I'm sometimes getting from fresh cane juice because maybe it's cut from the crystal. Tough to say. I'm not. I might just be speaking out of my ass. I really don't know, but I'm not getting it on here where I normally would. That's all. But also like it's usually quite long fermentations with native yeast, and the end result, as you can start to smell, like it's pretty volatile. It's a little like there's a lot of melon notes on there, but you do get some of that slight brininess. There is a little bit of that pickliness, not too much. Like I've had other like agricole styles that are way more intense. Brandon says it's fainty. Yeah, you know what? Okay, so there's that's a good comment. They don't have to, let's see. Well, first they don't have to toss the heads, but second, they can cut right in like right into the tails as well. And typically what they're doing is they're not proofing it down with water. They're mixing the cuts to achieve proof, which I think this one's 50% if I remember correctly. Can't remember now.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, 50. And if like the way it kind of well, again, I don't want to get too geeky into it, but like if you could put your distillation run on a timeline, your ethanol will start in one place, it'll go up and it'll go down after the kind of the hard kind of thing. And so like if you take it like tight, you'll have an average high of a really high ABV. If you take it long, your average goes way down. So you can like to get one distillation run at about 50% on a single distillation, you're probably taking a fairly wide cut. One of the reasons why they don't have to take the heads out is because there's no chlorophyll in the cane juice, so it doesn't turn into methanol quite so readily. There's likely some methanol in there, but probably not enough that they have to cut the heads. Mm. But there is almost like an agave-like note on here. That's really cool. It's kind of green and fresh. It's not so salty on the palate, but you do get like that earthy cane. Oh, it's actually like really like soil and tea tree oil kind of thing. Like it's really like organic.
It reminds me of some of the racias we've had, um, for sure. But it is an absolutely roller coaster of a drink. It's kind
Yeah,
of
that-
difficult.
that's a good call. That's a good call. Yeah, Harmony mentioned tomato stems at the beginning there. Fresh corn and just that's cool. Yeah, totally. Like maybe a young corn too, where it's like not quite ripe, maybe a little green. Tomato leaf. Yeah, very cool. I don't know if that really like I'm not sure if I get quite so much tomato on the palate myself. I guess it's really dominating with those earthy notes for me.
What
So
about
cool.
Will's olive brine? I mean, I kind
Yeah,
of can get that.
I think there's definitely a bit of a briny note on there for sure, like 100%.
Mhm.
Um, there's like there like if I wish we could get more Clairin in the province. I wish we could. Honestly, like Doug's the one who introduced me to this. Like I was not really aware of that it even existed before. And some of these bottles are just like so incredibly cool. Like there's some that are just like Chinese five spice powder and like I don't know, like weird rotting vegetables and stuff like there's just so many weird things going on with it, but it's definitely something I fell in love with for sure.
Doug definitely has a knack for the weird and wonderful spirit find.
Oh man. Yeah, so cool. So this was one of the ones that I was a little bit worried about during the in-store tasting, this one and the next one, just because like you never know what's going to happen with it. So what I did for them is I pre-mixed the other half of a daiquiri and I put it in like little cups for them. It's like if you don't like this, just dump it in and you get a little daiquiri. Great. And surprising enough, not everybody wanted it. They're just like, you know what, it's actually just kind of neat as is. I thought it was pretty cool. Yeah, Andrew, you mentioned like Clarence Sajou in SAQ. They actually had quite a few over there. There was the communal blend of from the same company that I ended up getting from them. It was quite good, and I had a Casimir from them as well, unaged. I really like the aged stuff though, like ancient, but the ancient ones, which I guess are not that easy to find. But those are the ones that typically really kind of like took my head for a spin. I was doing a little bit more research on this too last night. There was some of the cocktails that they recommend for Clarins are like there's one company that well, unfortunately we don't get it, but like for every producer they did a different cocktail that matched like what it was. And there are things like, Clairin Negronis and things like that. But there was one called a sour beer where they were mixing Clairin with lambic and a little bit of lime juice. And I gotta try it because like I don't know, I'm a beer guy and I love sour beers, but it just sounds so neat. So
Yeah.
yeah. So I'm gonna buy some so I'm gonna buy a goose and I'll have to try it out and kind of see what it's all about. There's another one, and I can't remember the name of it, but it's Clairin. You make it in a big batch. It's Clairin coconut milk, condensed milk, both unsweetened and sweetened, with some spices, and it's kind of supposed to be like an eggnog, like a spiced nog kind of thing, and then you like mix it together and steep your spices in there, and apparently it's like a celebratory drink in Haiti, which also
Cool.
sounds really cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I'm gonna have to try a couple of those, and I mean most of that stuff's just gonna use white Clarin anyways. So with the Benevolence, which I guess I'll show you that photo too before I move on, just so you know what it looks like. I'm currently sold out, but it is available. So just let me know, and I will be bringing it back in
Yeah,
regardless.
is my bad. I forgot to put it on the order.
It was surprising how quick it sold after that tasting. Like, yeah,
Yeah.
I love to know if you guys actually, or if you guys are actually enjoying it, or if it's just kind of like whatever. Like, because I thought it was quite cool. It's quite. I typically quite like white spirit, and this is one that I could sip most days. I think, at least in the summertime.
I find the fact that I can't pin down whether I like it or not like it part of its appeal.
I'm
Like,
gonna be honest.
like
That
do I have
last
to
sip
just
that I took has a little bit of like baby food and diaper on it, which is kind of funny.
Yeah, so do
It,
we keep drinking it? Yes,
I
okay.
I like it. That's why I drink cool spirits because you get like a lot of crazy stuff on it. Yeah, Will Christie says butyric acid. Yeah, probably. That's probably exactly what it is. Uh, Brent, okay, so should we email it, pick this up, or you know what? I'll put it on the order for next week. We'll see what we can do. To be fair though, if you want one, you should place an order because that will make Andrew bring it in quicker. Because we just committed to some of that Rum Nation stuff, and we have to start pulling those over the next couple of years. And Andrew likes to like play games with his ordering budget, so if there's orders for it, he'll bring it in.
Yeah. Yeah. The customer needs always come first.
Yeah, yeah,
If it's sold,
absolutely.
we'll bring it in for sure. All
Soda
right.
water and lime. Oh yeah, totally. You know what? I've actually never had just like a simple like Clarin with some soda. It's like just like like a highball. You know what? I might do that right after this, honestly.
So are we doing another
Yeah, one more.
Clarion after this or
No, so it's not Clarin. This is a little bit different. This is a rum. This is a white rum out of Oaxaca in Mexico. It's the first producer that we've seen out of Mexico. They're like obviously what do we know from Oaxaca? It's 100% mezcal. It's all we ever get. But I did catch wind in 2022 that there was a bit of rum coming out of Mexico before any of it hit Alberta. I was in London and I went to Hedonism Wines and I saw these bottles from. Okay, so if anybody knows the mezcal brand Cinco Sentido, it's the in-house brand for El Destilado, which is the high-end restaurant in Oaxaca City. They commission out batches from small mezcaleros for like single batch, single varietal, usually, or sometimes it's a fun experiment of some sort. Sometimes it's like 60 bottles. Like it's so like sometimes very, very, very small. We still get some in Alberta, but I learned by seeing them on the shelf there in London that they actually commission single cane rums as well, which are really it was really neat. They were not the cheapest, but they're all unaged cane juice rums from Oaxaca. And it turned my head. And I'm gonna be honest, I wish I bought some now. Like when I was there, I made the decision for a couple of Guadalupe bottles, but I mean, either way, I think I made a better choice. But either way, I probably should have grabbed one. Um, Anyway, this is the first one I saw coming in. We saw the standard blend, which is like a blend of I think four different canes, and they have an aged one, which is not nearly as cool as their white ones. It's more rum, like it's barreled. It's not very estery or anything like that. It's actually very I don't know. I don't know the word for it. I'm not going to say pedestrian, but it's more basic, I guess. Whereas this is like, well, as you can smell, it's got some similarities to like Clairin before, right? Like you can kind of tell it's cane juice. You can kind of tell it's pretty volatile. Um, yeah, so this is in the 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 fog, what's it called? Cloud forest of Sierra Mazateca in Oaxaca. And this guy, he's been doing, I think he's the fourth generation distiller, and it's largely cane juice, but he grows fruit and like four different coffee varietals on his property as well, and then four heirloom cane varieties. Most of the time he's blending those together, except there's two that he does as single cane, and that's this one, and I can't remember the other one. This one's called Cana Morada, and I can't remember what the other one's called. But they're a little bit different because I've had the blended one, and it's great. But I actually really like the single cane variety. I think it's like really cool. Something that he does kind of differently with his practices is when he's got his sugar wash, it's fermenting, and then every morning he will distill half of that batch, and then in the afternoon he tops up the rest of his tank with fresh cane juice. So he's got this continuous ferment over the months of his distillation season. The only exceptions to that are something like the single canes, where he actually has to empty out all of his vat and start from scratch for that, which I think he does like once a year per single varietals. Anyways, other than that, I think all the rest of the practice is more or less the same. Yeah, great relish notes, cool. What a cool note to put towards it. Yeah, this one is a bit more, when you say tomato, this one's more tomatoey to me than the last one for sure.
Mm.
It's a little less minerally. It's a little less like, yeah, it's a bit more savory for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, like Solera style fermentation. Or it's also, isn't like Baijiu made like that or something like that? Or I thought there was like an Asian spirit that's also made like that. I can't remember. Oh yeah, Creole. Yeah, thanks, Andrew. The Creola. Yeah, that's the other one. Oh man, but I hate Baijiu, man. I'm never gonna do it. I'm never gonna do a Keto Man Baijiu tasting. I can't do it, man. I've tried. Yeah, someone's, oh yeah, Nathan's already got it. Is that the regular one or is that the Morada? No, okay. That's cool.
Wow,
Mm,
the palette is
very,
not what I
yeah.
expected.
No, man, check out. Okay, does this not like scream cinnamon hearts to you on the palate? Like it's so crazy. And then yeah, then like Benny says like dirty gin martini. Yeah, that's fair. Like it does have a little bit more of those briny like all like I think there's a bit more oliviness than the first one on here, but
Yeah.
oh man, so cool. I love this one. I'm gonna have to try that like a highball with this with a touch of lime as well.
There's also like hints of like pineapple juice in here.
Yeah. Yeah, yeah. And it has that same organic-y like tea tree oil that the first one did. But I agree with you on pineapple, like fermented pineapple juice, like
Hmm.
tepache or whatever it's called.
Yeah. Wow. This is crazy. I was actually afraid to taste this.
It so you were mentioning before that like the disconnect between nose and palate, like both of these last two really embodied that, right? Like the palate is so
Yes.
much different and so much more pleasant in my opinion than the nose. It has that underlying cane sugar note that I just, it's just delicious.
Hmm.
And it kind of hits that spot of sweetness without being sweet, which I genuinely enjoy. Because I don't know. I well, yeah. If if my wife were here, if I said I have no sweet tooth, she would laugh in the background. But like, cause I try not to like, I don't have that much of a sweet tooth, but once in a while. But this kind of hits that for me. Mm. Oh, I forgot to show this one too. Man, I'm bad at this.
You're not bad at sharing the screen. You just enjoy talking about it more.
Do you remember when I did that one Scotch Malt Whiskey Society one? I was supposed to like supposed to show it, and then I just kept skipping past
Yeah,
it.
the whole time. Yeah.
So
Bottle has a
honestly,
QR
like
code.
this one does.
No, I was teasing. I said, if you
Oh,
want to look at it, use the
oh
QR
yeah,
code.
that's true. That's true. There's QR codes on the labels if you want to look at it that way.
I'm just
Um,
teasing.
this is a cool one. And honestly, at $70, man, like just so rad.
It looks like an empty bottle.
These these are the kinds of okay, so like man, the rum scene in Alberta is so weird. Like everyone just like saw this potential for like selling all these things, and everybody just like flooded the market with these like $150 plus rums that no, I'm gonna be honest, not all of them are worth it. Some of them are like I will put my faith in like Angus, for example. Like even if you don't think all three of those bottles are like kind of worth the price, like you can tell why he picked the cask and you can tell why he bottled it. Like it, I mean, it is what it is, and some of those flavors, especially that Uitvlught, like I would pay that for it personally because I just like those flavors are just amazing to me. But having these cool options in that like sub $80 level, man, we just don't get enough of them. And I look forward to like the collapse of the whiskey world slowly trickling into other spirits when people just don't want to spend that money anymore. And then next thing you know, we can get a little bit more stuff for cheap. But you know what? Having said that, I mean, like who was it? I read an article not too long ago where someone was it? I can't remember who it was. It might have been the guy from Rum X or one of the independent bottlers. Maybe it was anyways, they did a presentation on the breakdown of an independent bottling and what the cost was for what. And it was actually interesting to see the percentage of everything. And like the biggest one being like the importer distributor and the retail front. Like that was the biggest. But I mean, the overall I mean, like the amount of margin that had to go into that bottle just to get to that point was still actually like pretty interesting. Um, so it kind of put a different perception on it, where it's like it doesn't really seem like a lot of those places or people are trying to like gouge necessarily. It's just like you're selling old rum, and there's a lot of process behind getting it from the distillery to Europe, then to Europe to age, and then to age to get picked, and then to bottle. You know what I mean? Like there's just a lot to it. It's much more than
Yeah,
going directly to a distillery. And there's
right.
all these like middlemen and stuff like that. So, I've only got so much in the way of judgment for the pricing on that stuff.
That's fair. When you have to relocate just to mature, you have to
Mm,
consider that cost. Yeah.
yeah, yeah, totally. Oh man, I love those last two so much.
I really enjoyed them. Like neither of them were what I expected. And that's why I enjoy these. Like it's
I don't know if I would say they take over the Enmore for me, but I mean, definitely pretty high up on the list for me.
yeah.
Mm. Anyways, like yeah, that's it for the tasting part. I mean, there might be a poll. Maybe I'll just make sure there's no questions I didn't come up here.
I think
Oh
there's
yeah, yeah. So
one.
Brendan was asking like any chance we'll see Alembic Serrano. Yeah, and I know Andrew was mentioned that too, and I was chatting with him last. And sorry, Andrew Braun in the chat here, not the store Andrew. I don't know. All of that stuff is usually dependent on like production levels, if they have enough to export that much, and if there's someone willing to make contacts with them and to go to all the trouble to bring it in with it's a risk like any kind of investment. Like, are they going to be able to sell it? Are they going to have to blow it out? Tough to say. I can't say I haven't thought about that kind of stuff once in a while, but I don't know. I don't know if I got the guts to do that kind of thing, to be honest, especially in this market.
Mm.
Yeah, spam them. Yeah, that's true. Spam them with emails. Yeah, I don't know. Is Serrano Alembic, is that's also Oaxaca, I think, isn't it? Like I think most of those, yeah. And I hear like uh there's the rum subreddit and people kind of are going nuts over it. So yeah.
Mm.
Oh, it's also the Cinco Sentidos guys. I didn't know that. Oh, so they must maybe they rebranded after that because those I just oh cool. Okay, the bottles that I saw in 2022 were just like Canada Oaxaca or something like that, and they're very like they're small bottles and very simply branded. Oh, that's cool that they found like an actual brand. If that's the case, I okay. I will take note of who's on the get here. Like, I'll take note of you. We already have an importer for Cinco Sentidos, and they have been pushing him to take some samples for rum. So I don't know what kind of pricing we'd see, but I can just kind of poke the barrel a bit and see on the set. Like the unfortunate side is like you're probably looking at like that, $150 a bottle kind of thing because most of the Cinco Sentidos are in that 110 to 180 kind of thing. But I can definitely I can take a look for sure. Take my money, yeah.
It looks like there is a poll here today.
Oh yeah. Let's get the poll going too. Because I want to know what everyone's favorites are there. Where is it? Oh, there it
Did
is.
did you make the poll or probably not?
No, Evan did. Yeah, Evan did. So I don't know what these are gonna say. What he always does that weird bonus question, so I don't know what it's gonna say.
Well, there's 4 questions here, which is
Oh,
rare.
cheap. Okay. So I
Birthday.
guess in the meantime here, so let's uh Harmony, do you have a favorite one and two?
No. I really liked that Barbados 2000. I thought that was a really lovely um run and had some notes that were a little bit more familiar and I was able to kind of pinpoint them. My second is probably that number two. Um, I enjoyed how it evolved in the palette and just I really liked the finish of it, that kind of like dryness that it had. But I found the last two to be most interesting and for that I like the uniqueness and discovering something new. I found that very enjoyable. So I kind of wish that was a question. I don't know, maybe it is a question, but discovering something just like wacky and weird is so fun.
Yeah, fair. Wait, who answered Canada for question three? That's all right. You can tell me after.
Take them
Um,
out.
fair. Okay. I think okay, for me, what do we got? Okay, sorry. So you said Barbados was which one, sorry?
So Barbados was my first.
First. Okay, yeah.
Yeah. And then Uitvlught was
For
probably my
number two.
second. Yeah.
Gotcha. Okay. I think yeah, I flew to has to be number one for me. I just love that bottle so much. It was just so it hit every spot. It was old. It was like it really does like if I'm thinking old rum, like it's hard to like with old whiskey, it's got like very specific notes and flavors. I don't think I can really tell that with a lot of rums because especially with some because I'm not looking for big barrel. I'm not looking for like with esters and stuff, like you're not always aging elegantly like that. Like it really more depends on the climate than like the like esters and stuff like that. And I get, but it still kind of says like that says old rum to me because there's elegance to it, which a lot of others I won't get.
Yeah.
Um, like for like because I think the like that Barbados is almost 20 as well, but that's a bit more aggressive. It was a bit more in your face and it didn't have that same that same elegance. Not that it wasn't good. I loved it. I absolutely adore it. In fact, I think I might put that at number three if I could, but I
Mhm.
think I like that. I think I kind of like that Paranubes as number two, honestly. Like I was gonna say the Clairin, but I really like that Oaxaca. Like I was absolutely I love the spice, the cinnamon notes on there. Like it's just so pleasant. Oh, so that's probably
Mhm.
my number two. Yeah.
Yeah.
How many people have answered?
Everyone
Okay,
has
I think we got
answered.
everything. Okay, great. Let's end the poll here, and I want to share the results. Yep. So I flute took number one with that Barbados in a close second there. Yeah, I honestly I'm not surprised. It just screams it. And then Clarendon took number two. That's super cool.
Hmm.
I wouldn't have guessed that. That's neat. I mean, I love Jamaica. It's like close to my heart in every way, but but I just thought some of those other ones kind of like took it out. Not much in the way of Cana Morada, just one each. Okay, that's fair. Jamaica makes the best, and 3 people pick Canada for making the best. What's the best rum in Canada? Is it like the only one that I know that was kind of worth it was the Carroll's Distillery, which I heard made some pretty cool stuff on the East Coast. But
Check. Lambs.
Lambs, right? Blue
God.
Nose, right? Yeah,
Oh,
yeah,
the Navy, 100%.
yeah.
Yeah.
What kind of shitty flame
Screech.
bait choices are those? Evan must have made this poll. I am incensed that you did not include this country. Fill in the blank. Does it say? Can I see what it
You
is?
can't do.
Oh, yeah, you can't do it. Oh,
Evan just wanted to name
very,
himself in the poll question.
that's very funny.
Yeah.
Well, all right, that's fun. Screech. Oh yeah, someone says Screech. You know, Screech used to be aged in authentic barrel, like actual barrels, but now it's just in blues plastic tubs on wood chips.
Oh, that's
And
sad.
that stopped probably probably 15 years ago, I think. Yeah. Less about Canada making the best as opposed to nuts make. What's wrong with Jamaica? Dumping on everyone for the poll. I think that's all right. Yeah, yeah. Hey, Jeff, that's exactly the next question. Yeah, yeah. That's exactly what it's going to be. All right, all right. We got it. I think we did it. I think we did it. Cool. Well, thanks everyone. That was great. Oh man,
Thanks, John.
I was so happy to go through those rums the second time. I love it.
Yeah.
Uh, anyways, like if anyone's got any questions, I mean, please, reach out to me. If you don't have my email, it's beerguy@kensingtonwinemarket.com, all one word. Yeah, I appreciate y'all coming. I'm so glad I was able to fill the 20 spots, and I'll probably do the same thing again because 20 is a good number for like the amount of people that I can sell for virtuals. And it allows me to do it twice, and I can talk to both people in person on the screen, and I can open dope stuff, which is great. So
Yeah.
yeah, with that, I appreciate everyone coming out, and I'm probably gonna call it an evening tonight. Yeah,
Yeah, go make some cocktails, Sean.
yeah, yeah, right. And I'm gonna do some rum highball, Clairin highball. Yeah. All right. Take care, guys.
Awesome.